Hi, this is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I help you learn how to market and how to sell easily, effortlessly, and enjoyably, even fun. And yes, you can. So today I wanted to share some of the trials and tribulations that I've had really recently redoing my website. And in this last year, you could not believe the number of tech challenges I've had. There are certain, say, email hosts that are not necessarily the problem, although the one I use, Infusionsoft, now having graduated from using Constant Contact, I've used MailChimp, and I still continue to use Aweber, but for my biggest audiences, my to customer work, I use Infusionsoft to manage so much more than just the email, but it's often called Confusionsoft for a good reason. There are certain email marketing structures with funnels like my Infusionsoft application that seem to be haunted. Unfortunately, it is mine. So I've had more tech challenges in the last, we're approaching 10 months, than anyone else that I know. So beginning to work with that, first of all, was a big challenge and initially got it set up successfully by someone else with help, but little did I know that I was going to be kind of codependent on them and their system because it was something that few other people that I would hire for projects just on a one-off project kind of basis could understand. They didn't know the tagging. So it caused a lot of problems. Different things got sent to people who shouldn't have gotten them. And, I probably lost some people. Not many, but I certainly didn't gain some people. So that's the goal of the game, right? When you up your game, you up level, you get new products, you get something new and implement it. The hope is you've spent that money and the time investment and the energy to create it to get more business. So I'm going to share with you some of the headaches, the things I've learned, so that hopefully you can avoid these same mistakes. So, first of all, I want to have you look at, are you ready for number one? Everybody, if you're listening to this, needs an email provider. So whether you start with MailChimp, which is user friendly, Constant Contact, which is getting better all the time, Aweber, which is also pretty user friendly and also making big improvements from when I started using it in 2013, or you jump into Infusionsoft, which I don't recommend if you are just beginning a list. You really don't need it until you have a huge list or you know with certainty, and who does, that you're going to be growing in leaps and bounds really, really rapidly because of some kind of campaign or connection or networking that you're doing. You don't need that yet. And it's not so difficult to say move over from any of those others that I've mentioned to export and then import into the new system. And usually when you're ready to do that, you'll want to make some changes anyway. So while you're going to think, I can't, I can't, get that exactly the way I want it, it's probably not exactly the way you want it. It's a good time to look at, is the customer experience exactly the way it should be anyway? Or is it time to kind of clean things out? Make sure that everybody I'm emailing actually wants my email, and asking them to opt in to something new is not completely a bad thing because it's kind of a wake-up call for you and for them that yes, they do want in, and you can really think about what's the first thing and the next thing that you want them to do. So enough said about email providers and hosts. I really want to dive into your website. Whether you literally are doing business in a business, like on Main Street or some side road or your garage for that matter, if somebody is coming to you to actually personal train physically, face to face with you, that's still a need for a website because 80% or more at this point. So I was saying that 3 years ago, 80% of people check you out online before they will ever walk through your door. And they're not going to walk through your door first. In fact, they will probably look at you online and then they may email you, call you, read a blog, listen to a podcast just like this to see if your voice, your tone of voice resonates with them. Because here's the truth, you may be helping them make changes, but people initially start following people that are going in the direction that they were already going in the first place. So there has to be some kind of this makes sense to me. I've been thinking that what she's saying or he's saying resonates and that probably has some truth to it, and I know I need to make a change. So although it can't be a total 180 or 360 away from where they are now, there can be some suggestion changes. You just have to connect with someone. That's what's really important. So, that said, what you want to do on your website, whether you're totally digital, you are that face to face trainer, or you're doing a little bit of both, maybe hoping or wanting to do more digital, and I would highly suggest that you do because it's a great combination. If you are face to face and you're digital, you have everything at your fingertips. You can reach anyone in the world and train with them. And those people closest to you can still find you convenient and non intimidating if they don't want to come into the gym. If they hate germs, they hate the uncleanliness of clubs, whether yours is or not, that's kind of the connotation that customers or prospects who are not customers have about you. So, what do you need on that website? And I'm not going to go into, too much of the exact types of, okay, put this here, put that there, put this there. You're going to have to experiment and test. So that means you might have more than one page for the same kind of product. And you test by driving traffic to both of them 50-50 and see which converts better. What makes people actually click and buy and get to the next step if it's not buying. But what I am going to talk about is what makes a website good from a customer standpoint, as of course from your standpoint, so that it converts, brings you into a deeper relationship with a customer so that they become a buyer, right? So, number one is go simply instead of vomiting all of everything that you have. So it's really tempting to, at the top in your navigation, so the bars where you have, here's our information about personal training, here's our group training, here's our blog, here's our podcast, here's our information about massage, here's information about our nursery, swimming lessons. Having all of those tabs up on the top can get really overwhelming. What you want to think about is what makes the most clean experience for the customer, and then you have to back out from that actually and say, what do you want the customer to do when they come to your site? You don't just want to vomit everything that you offer on that homepage so that they can see it. What you want to be thinking is back to marketing and selling. People want to buy the thing that solves problems. So, what you want, maybe more than you want, here's our group fitness, or here's our personal training, here's our swimming lessons, is to look at, getting started. Maybe on that getting started page, you have some freebies. Maybe it's a quiz about questions about what it is that they want to get started with. And that interactive quiz, which is not hard to build, don't get stuck right now and I don't know how to build that kind of thinking because somebody else does. You can hire someone to build you say a 10-point or 12-point quiz, maybe fewer questions if you have fewer amenities and services. Then it gets really simple really fast. But you might want to quiz someone on what kinds of things are they interested in doing. Are they interested in weight loss? Are they interested in, attending group fitness? Do they prefer that, or do they prefer working out individually in small groups or alone? Do they want training that they can do at home or in the club or traveling or all of the above? Do they need childcare? You're asking a lot of questions to then take them to the next step where you'd get those answers, they'd be automated, and then take them to the next step, which might be based on what you've said. Personal training or a one-on-one consultation would be the best place for you to start. Here's the link, just book this link here to say fill out your health history form so that the trainer has it in advance and they can jump right in and make this the most valuable. So you've already, if they've come to visit your site, they already are one step closer. Then they may be ready to book. But one thing trainers and owners often overlook is that offering a free consultation is a big leap for about 80% of the people, who are the 80% of the people not exercising yet. So let that sink in for a minute. For me, if I'm on the couch and I'm still eating chips and I can't resist the cravings that I have at night, to come in if I have more than 20 pounds to lose and it's been a long time since I've exercised and I have this image that everybody inside looks fit and has makeup on and looks great in tights and I do not, I am not going to walk in for a free consultation. I'm not going to walk in for a free fitness assessment or to get my body composition done. I'm already sure my body composition is terrible and I know it. I don't need you to tell me that. And I don't want you to tell me that, make me feel bad, and then pressure me into a sale. And customers are smart. They know that's what's happening. So you've got to bridge that gap between them being on the couch feeling really poor about themselves and being able to take a next step. And it's not yet a fitness assessment. It might be at some point, but right now it might be a free PDF or a free video where you're simply head and shoulders describing, let me give you some gentle stretches. Let me give you some gentle warm-ups that you can do before you take a walk. And I want you to do that for the next week. Let me send you 5 days of just a quick quote and motivational reminder to go out and do it. And then do that where you actually, each video after that is, say, a short warm-up or a short stretch for cool down or a short shot of you at the kitchen sink filling up a glass of water saying why this is so important. So little things like that that are benign, right? They don't feel very threatening. You're over there on video, but I am getting to know your voice. I'm getting to know that you actually care, that you have some idea of where I am. So be thinking about what your next step is. Now, we're not going into creating all of those things, but somewhere you probably already have these things, YouTube videos that you've created that you could share one by one for every other day or for 5 days in a row. That would be great content appropriate to someone who's just starting out, thinking about starting out, right? So you've got to think about the layers of customers. So number one, create a simple experience. When somebody lands on your homepage, you've got to realize that this is 2017 and none of us, not you, not me, not your customer, wants to sign up for your newsletter. There better be something juicy that I'm signing up for in order to get on your newsletter list. And so you've got to create that. And you might have a page if you're a full service club where you'd say, start here. And you'd have a page of this is for a flat belly, this is abdominal work, this is for, aging backwards, and if you're approaching 50 or beyond, this is how to get fit, stay lean, and have a higher metabolism even as you age. Maybe it's for athletes if you work with youth athletes. So maybe you have 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 if you have different kinds of people and clients that you work with. Distinguish those avatars, and first just create, say, the top 3. Don't overwhelm yourself. One at a time, create one great book. You might give that project to somebody else. So if you have that many different avatars, I'm guessing you're in a full service club, you have multiple trainers working for you. But on that page, they can click where to opt in and get started to download the book or download the 5 video series. And that's where you would start. So you would definitely tell them, okay, here's the homepage. Just, are you new here? Hey, start here, click here. Just kind of a waving sign. And that would take them to a video, maybe on a lead page, we call it, or a page on your website that's specifically for, here's where to start. Listen to this, watch this, and then click one of these on the bottom that describes you the best. If you want to jump right in to a consultation, make that option at the bottom, but remember 20% of the people are going to do that. And actually, it might be even 10, because 10% of people are just going to be ready to walk in your door. 10 to 15 are ready to buy today. They're not going to miss a workout. So if they're just moving, they're traveling, they're ready to change clubs, they're going to work out no matter what. They're not going to even do the consultation with you. They're skipping it. They don't think they need you. So there's probably really only 10% of people who are clicking on free consultation on your website and taking advantage of that. The rest of your audience is too cold. So think about, do you need to redo your website based on that? And if you have too many options on any page on your website, it's just not clear what you want them to do. So clarity matters. Keep it clean, keep it simple. You have how many kinds of clients? Make something for each of them, have them choose how to get started, and then from there, they should go into an email funnel that takes them the rest of the way and only brings them back to the website in order to buy. So once you've created the relationship, then it's appropriate to do that by page. But very few people actually anymore, 2017 into the future, are going to buy from you just from a, hey, hello, they landed on your website, I want to get fit, yep, I'm going to sign up for that group training program. It's just not likely someone is going to do that anymore. There are too many programs out there. There are too many competitors for their time. And I mean everything that takes up time or money. So their kids' school events, whether it's athletics or music or scholarship kinds of programs, all of that is your competition. It's not just other clubs and studios and boutiques and personal trainers who go house to house, and online programs or memberships and streaming videos and all the free videos on YouTube, which are also competing for your same customer, right? So be thinking about, make the experience simple, get to their solution for the problem that they've got, instead of just getting, diarrhea out there about, here's our special, here's what we have, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, start here. Make it clear for them, not just, blah. Here we go. Number 2, think about that customer again. So come back to, you've got, 3 layers of customers. They may all have different interests within this. So there's so many diverse groups here, but you have that intimidated customer. Then you have the one who's busy. They really want to do it and they really want to come in, but they're so busy. And then you've got the ready, willing. I'm going to fire. I'm coming in no matter what, right? They just want to know what your hours are and they are in. Any one of them might be also a personal training client, but you want to make sure you have something for all of them on that get started here page. So be thinking not just goals in terms of, do they want to be, more endurance athletes? Do they want to prevent falls and fat gain when they're getting older? Do they want to get off the bench and get into the game when they're in high school or college? What are their goals? You can think about that, but you've also got to think within that, some of them are intimidated to leave their house. Some of them are just so darn busy they can't make time for a workout. And some of them are ready, willing, they're going to be doing it no matter what you say. So if people land on your page and they buy cold turkey, if that were really happening, you would be buying Facebook ads and coming directly to your website to a sales page all day, every day, because those kinds of ads directly, if you put the right copy in there, you have a great image, and you have some content on that page that is valuable information in addition to the place where they buy, those ads are about 5 cents per click, right? So if that worked, you would do it all day, every day. My guess is you either haven't tested that, it's not true. If you advertise cold turkey on Facebook to your demographic that would be the great fit, the perfect fit for a boot camp, you're not going to just advertise to a stranger and have them come and say, oh yeah, I'm going to buy that. It's great, right? You've got to create a relationship with them. So you first want to direct them, say, to a blog where you have content specifically for them. Your blog, if it's not specific to a single market niche, it's got to be either directed toward older adults, and particularly even older females or older males, and or it's to an athlete, whether that's an aging athlete. Maybe it's a 30, 40, 50, 60 and beyond athlete who's, not in college, not in high school anymore, but they want to stay fit. They want to compete, even though they might be aging, have a little bit more aches and pains. Could be for them. Could be targeted specifically at weight loss. But even within that, weight loss for who? Weight loss for women is different than weight loss for men. Weight loss for women who are over 45 is very different than weight loss for a 20 or 30-year-old. So target, target, target. You cannot have a broad blog and attract anybody. So if you want to direct traffic to a blog that then has a link to if you liked this, you're going to love this type of thing, you can say exactly that. Then you would take them to the page that describes your program. You've got a little bit of a relationship built with them. You've given them some content. That may feel too abrupt to some people. So you want to test that along with on the blog directly for that market. You have the opt-in. Here, if you like this, you'll love this. Go grab this free, 5-day video training just to get you off the couch, get you started on some great habits that don't take much time or energy and are easy on joints. Jump right in. Then they go through the 5 days with you. And then on day 6, you congratulate them. You did it. You made it through these days. So if they're still watching and reading, opening their email on day 6, you can bet that they probably did it. If they opted out, didn't open, then you may have lost them. They really are not ready to change, and that's okay, but you'll know. So if they get to day 6, now's the chance to say, we've got something really special for you. And if you adopt early, we know it's easy to pass it up. We know it's easy to get busy and fall back into habit. We want you to get started. So that's when you give them a bonus with their getting started right now, or you do discount and you say, okay, right now opt in and take 15% off if you get started right now, and this expires in 3 days. So jump in and make it expire in 3 days. And you can automate that too. You don't have to know how to do that. Someone else can do that for you. Just know what's possible and don't stop yourself because you personally don't know. You just need to know this is what I want to happen. Go find the people who build that for you. It's easy to hire tech savvy people to do a single one-off project. Say, this is what I need. You give them access. Here's the password to this. Here's the password to this. Tell me what I need to give you more. Tell me, what more you need from me, etc., etc. And it's so super easy. Beyond that, the biggest page on your website, the most important and most often clicked page on a website is the About page. People want to know about you. So if you're in a big fitness center, a big business, tell the story. How did it first open? If it's a mom and pop store, it's open, it's private, it's not a franchise. Tell the story about who opened it, when, and how. I mean, why? Why would you do this? Out of all the things in the world that you could do, why did you do this? Tell that story. Tell you, why you chose fitness, tell why your business, and then people feel like they have some loyalty, they have some buy-in because they get you, they get your story. And it's not just I wanted to make a lot of money and a lot of profit, so we're going to raise our rates and have really high personal training rates. I mean, nobody would say that, right? But on the flip side, they want to know who's behind the business. So keeping the owner, you know, separate, keeping the general manager separate, keeping, any partners in the business separate and quiet may be a mistake. And it may actually hinder some relationships with people in your community, depending on whether you're brick and mortar or you're virtual. It doesn't matter. So I tell my story about making a lot of major life changes when I was 49, narrowing my niche to my customer being primarily women who are flipping 50. And by flipping 50, I define what that means to me and why it's so important. And, telling that story makes me vulnerable. I share what I did right, what I did wrong. I share going through some really tearful, tough times for a while. And, how I'm still in the boat with them, which really matters. So, revealing all of this on your website is super important because it's like someone came to your house and they were knocking on your door and they sat down with you at the table. You're going to talk to them a lot more intimately than you would if they were a stranger and you were on stage and they were just a huge audience. So you've got to get out of that mode. Your website should be a conversation as much as almost social media is today. So those are the things I've learned from revamping, and you'll never be done with your website. You're going to kind of finish one modification and then you're going to decide, I really need to do this again. And I'm in the process of doing that right now. So I redid my website and redoing, actually taking one website, splitting it into three, and that process is ongoing. But I did my one major website last April, first launched it. We've been tweaking it ever since. And right now I'm going through an even more tweak on the store and the shopping experience. And we've gotten that done. And what it lets you do is it's like remodeling or redecorating your bedroom or living room, right? You get new curtains and then you start looking at your couch and it's like, oh man, that doesn't look very good anymore next to those curtains. So it's like the next thing and the next thing. And that's okay. Realize though, what are the biggest needle movers? Make sure you've got revenue coming in and you're paying attention to putting your products and services in place. So you're doing fine. And then realize this, that your goal is not putting your products and services number one on your website so that they sell, because they're not going to just have strangers land on your site and buy. Very rarely. I mean, probably less than 2% will happen that way. You want them prominently displaying your opt-in freebies so people get into an email funnel so you can talk to them, nurture them, communicate with them, have a conversation. They can get to know you, trust you, like you. That is who people buy from. Let me know your comments. Love to hear from you. Go make a difference.